Hello everyone, this is the PixelFree team. Today we're presenting with our open source project, which is a privacy-driven digital photo frame, which will allow users to control their photos without the need for big companies and big platforms.
Most commercial digital frames today lock users into closed ecosystems. They often require subscriptions, collect personal data, and restrict where your photos come from. We wanted to rethink that model. Our objective with PixelFree is to build a free, open source digital frame that connects to PixelFed, a decentralized social platform, and gives users complete control over their privacy and their content. PixelFree offers a convenience polished commercial frame without the trade-offs. No subscriptions, no tracking, and a transparency in how images are fetched, stored, and displayed.
For our design process, we started by conducting competitor research to uncover usability gaps in existing digital photo frames. Using those insights, we built the product's visual identity. This included creating the logo, branding elements, and UI style foundation using apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, and Figma. We then designed the end-to-end configuration experience for the managing of the pixel-free frame and created user journeys based on sponsor requirements and anticipated user flows. Finally, we produced low and high fidelity wireframes for key features such as setup, album creation, and display settings. As shown, our colors are as shown for our color system, we focused on creating a calm, modern, and highly readable interface. Our primary color is a soft sky blue, which helped establish a friendly and approachable tone throughout the product. We paired that with a neutral palette of grays, whites, and black to maintain clarity and balance across the UI. We introduced red intentionally for specific states. This allowed us to keep the overall experience clean while still communicating button hierarchy when necessary.
PixelFree has three components. The actual physical display, which we will have the display UI live on there, and the management UI, which will be the way the user interacts with the settings. And this is all backed by a backend controller. For our display and the management UI, they're both on separate devices, but the management UI can be either on a web or a mobile device. It will behave similarly and it has the same functionality. It's basically to create albums, add photos, remove photos, favorite some photos, and to change the settings, which will appear eventually on the display UI. All of this is controlled by the backend.
Yeah, so our backend connects between our actual photo frame and the management UI. It also connects to our third party, which is PixelFed, which is where we source our photos from. It's ultimately responsible for handling the images and the albums so that they can be ultimately displayed on your device. It also handles user information, settings, and connecting your PixelFed account into our software.
Our original plan was to separate the frame from the admin apps, centralize all communication, and have scheduled album updates in cache. Um, and for our stretch goal, we wanted to eventually deploy the entire software on a Raspberry Pi and run it in kiosk mode, uh, and have the additional feature of network discovery. We had some things changed.
Yeah. So throughout development, we had to change priorities and ultimately chose to cut deploying to the Raspberry Pi and network discovery. These would have been great things to have. Ultimately, we would love to run on a physical device. And network discovery allows us for example, if you had the management UI running on your phone, you would be able to detect a frame on the same network, which is ultimately something we would want in the software, but we chose to instead focus on just delivering the core software features because these things would require a lot of hardware testing, network testing, and just weren't in scope for the time that we had. We also iterated a lot on UI design. And the focus there was to just make sure that our UI was approachable. It was easy to just pick up the application and start using it, regardless of who you were or what your technical expertise was. Right, and next we have the technical lessons. Like kind of we touched on before, having essentially three separate applications required a lot of, well, communication within the team in terms of design, but also technical challenges with actually designing the communication between these applications. The backend serves as sort of like the centerpiece. Both the management UI and the frame itself communicate via the backend, and then also handle communication to the PixelFed API. And speaking of that API, we had to make sure that we respect them and their servers. So we had to make sure that we had good rate limit handling and caching. Caching also really benefits users. If you're constantly going to network in order to display photos, that's especially on a network that's unstable or just has a slow connection, that would be a really bad user experience. So that was really an important feature for us to deliver.
Another important lesson we learned when it came to the design aspect of things was simplicity over features. This simply meant focusing on clarity and reducing complexity. This made the experience much easier for users. And finally, responsive design was essential. We built layouts that adapt smoothly across desktop, tablet, and mobile to keep the experience seamless everywhere.
So the overall deliverables. As shown here of both mobile and desktop view, we had a fully functional management UI, allowing users to have a quick set in the settings and a quick preview of the display. We also had a fully functional display UI with smooth transitions and great layouts of the images. We also had a backend that powered the communication between the services and the album features. We also had documentation and unit tests for these functions, and we tried our stretch deliverable of additional display styles in the display frame.
Also, our entire project will be published on GitHub, and all the documentations to how to run it, and all the specific file structures and everything you need to continue and build on top of it, because it is an open source project. It will be provided on GitHub.
Little demonstration. Before we get started, I'll be talking about the design choices we made. We decided to go for cool tone colors for this design, just to keep it simple and clean, as well as for buttons and typeface. We decided to keep it very simple, and as well for the hierarchy. Um, we're going to have many different users, different ages of users using this. So we decided to keep it very, very clean and simple.
All right, so this would be our main dashboard. Our main dashboard consists of quick settings to adjust the display and change the album, and a tiny preview to watch these changes happen in real time. Um, we have three other tabs, amongst them the album, which will only show us the albums we have, and it will allow us to create new ones or delete them. For our favorites, this will allow us to see the photos we have favored. If you click on the photo, we enter what we call a gallery view, which will display the info about that picture. It can be removed if you want to simply go through them, or hidden if you want to completely remove the photo. We also want to thank our mentor, Joe. He's provided us with a lot of the documentation to begin with. He provided us with a lot of help and allowed the team to take free space to work with this as a team. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.